Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
Let's hang out. Let's hang out. And let's talk about what lesbians about. Let's hang out. And let's listen to two lesbians shout. Let's hang out. Let's hang out.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Hang Out, the podcast that has never once in our lives been able to think straight. From the West Coast, ever. From the West Coast, I'm Leigh Holmes Foster.
And from the East Coast, I'm Ellie Brigida. To those of you who have been with us through this whole journey, thank you as always for listening. If you're a new listener, welcome. We're excited to have you here. Here's what's happening this week.
This week in the Lesdom.
This Week in the Lesdom is a place where we can touch base each episode about things going on with the podcast or otherwise. We would love it if you would join our Patreon. We have all kinds of bonus episodes for you. Season 7, our Patreon bonus episodes coming up. We have The Miseducation of Cameron Post that just came out. And our next one is going to be on Blue is Warmest Color in October. I know it's a lot of people's favorite or least favorite films. Quite controversial. So if you want to hear our opinions on that, you can join our Patreon at bit.ly/lespatreon.
Some of you may have been following our trip to Croatia last week. We had an absolute blast. We just had the best time.
It was such a gay old time.
It was such a gay old time. We had the best little team of LGBTs, such a good crew. And we know some of you may have seen, because we started dropping some links to it in our Instagram stories if people were following along. We are planning already our next trip to Costa Rica. We're going to be going May 1st to May 6th. This one, if you are following the Croatia trip and you were like, hey, this looks busy, and that is a whole lot. 3 locations in a week is a lot. This one, we're going for a little bit more relaxed vibes. It's less travel time if you're coming from the US. It's more retreat style. We're going to be doing more of the hangout part of Let's Hang Out. In Costa Rica, we've got some great activities. We're going to have a spa day. We're going to have a horseback ride up to a waterfall and stuff. So it's a little bit lower key. There's some hot springs. If you want to join us, you can find all the details at bit.ly/LesDoCosta Rica.
In the greater Les universe, we are very excited that the WGA strike has ended.
So they announced a lot of the details, and I think they basically got concessions on most points that they were really gunning for. So I know they won things about like AI. I know they won a lot of their really important points about staff minimums and for like paying writers for like different specific types of scripts and stuff that they were writing, like getting credits and getting paid for stuff, like room minimums and stuff like that. So they actually basically kind of got everything that they were really gunning for. And I think it is huge news for the SAG strike that is still ongoing, that basically, studios and networks had to just admit, yeah, you actually need writers and you should be paying them for this stuff. And they got huge concessions and I think are pretty happy with the deal overall.
Amazing.
So fingers crossed, similar wins for the Actors Guild. We'll see. We'll see what's going on.
We are excited too, because once the WGA strike and the SAG strike are over, we can expand our Should Have Been Gays back again.
And get some more guests on and stuff. Yeah, it's been hard without, people can't promote anything. So we're going. We're hoping for some good resolutions, but very exciting news that I think is officially the longest WGA strike they've ever held. And also just really important to show how powerful collective bargaining can be and why unions.
Let's freaking go.
Let's freaking go, everyone. Yeah, so good developments. Also in the Greater Liz universe, so there's a trailer that came out recently for a new Hulu show that's dropping this fall. That's part of their Huluween programming. and it is Kristen Stewart's gay ghost hunting show.
Great.
So,
Ghost, Kristen Stewart, gays. Perfect.
yes, it's called Living for the Dead, and it apparently introduces a team called the Ghost Hunties that are a team of 5 gay experts, like paranormal experts. It sounds very funny. I don't know all that. I mean, obviously it's not out yet, so we haven't seen it, but I am excited to find out more and excited to watch it when it comes out.
Damn, we really are winning during Gay Christmas, which is Halloween.
Yeah.
Also in the Greater Loves universe, the Ultimatum Queer Love season 2 has been announced. They're starting to do casting for it. So
God help
clearly,
us.
People love the show, as you know we do. But if you're out there and you're like, let me wreck my relationship on TV,
Yeah.
do it. Go for it.
The opportunity is here.
Yeah, the
Live
opportunity of a
your
lifetime.
life.
You will not catch me anywhere near it. But if you want to audition, go for it. That's what's happening this week. Back to you, Ellie and Leigh.
Thanks, Ellie and Leigh, and welcome to our 4th episode of Season 7 and our very first 7th season installment of Lez-ssentials.
We love our Lez-ssentials. Those of you who have been here, you know what a Lez-ssentials is, but we're going to tell you anyways. Lez-ssentials is a recurring segment on the show where we dive into classic lesbian movies or shows.
And as a reminder, we also write and record original songs for all of our Lez-ssentials movies and shows. So you'll want to stick around to the end of the episode for our original song for this movie. It's called Waves.
And for today's Lez-ssentials, we are talking about the 2008 lesbian film, I Can't Think Straight. Aptly named.
2008.
2000 freaking 8, Leigh.
Wow.
I feel like we've been doing a lot of newer movies, and I could use a throwback. Like, this is bringing me back.
Here's my problem with what you just said. I am not ready. I am
for
not
2008
ready
to be a throwback.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not okay. I'm not okay with this. It was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not allowed to be a throwback for me also.
15
It's a
years.
problem.
What's a throwback? 20 years?
Listen, I'm still in the mindset where like 1990 was 10 years ago, and so it's a problem for me.
1990 is a throwback, not a classic.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyways, just the extremely recent hit film that just came out, I Can't Think Straight, which was directed by Shamim Sharif, written by Shamim Sharif and Kelly Moss, and stars Lisa Ray and Chital Sheth. Just a recent film.
Very recent. Yeah. Which
brand new.
We'll dive into.
Has anyone even heard? Have you guys heard of this?
Yeah, we'll dive.
Have you all heard of I Can't Think Straight?
If this movie actually came out last year, Leigh, we would have a very different Lez-ssentials chat about it, though. So we have.
We would. I know.
We really have to put it
so
in its
true.
correct time period. That's all I'm saying.
Can you imagine?
That's all I'm saying.
Oh, God.
Yes.
So, yeah, okay. Are we ready?
Let's
Should
do
I do
it.
an
Let's
IMDb?
IMDb synopsis this baby. Let's do it.
Okay. The IMDb synopsis for I Can't Think Straight. I don't get to do that many of these this season. This is very exciting. The IMDb synopsis is as follows. A young woman engaged to be married finds her life changed forever when she meets her best friend's girlfriend.
Okay.
I have to say, as one of the few IMDb synopses I'm getting to read right now, I'm a little underwhelmed, honestly.
Are you overwhelmed, though?
We've had one or two good ones.
Yeah.
Well, okay,
yeah.
we've had one or two slightly better
mediocre ones. Yeah. That's why I
Yeah.
said. That's why I said whelmed.
Passable.
I don't think we've ever been overwhelmed. You know.
But this
Can
feels
you
like
ever just be whelmed?
exceedingly underwhelming
Yeah.
on the scale of IMDb synopses that we've read. This one feels
Her life
worse.
changed forever. I mean, to be
Yeah.
fair, her life has changed forever. So we'll dive into that. I would also like to mention that I Can't Think Straight won many, many, many lesbian film awards. Also, in terms of this film, queer woman writer and director. One of the reasons that we picked it for this season is because it was one of the reasons we picked it for this particular season is because we are not doing struck work, and this is by an independent film studio as well. What was your personal experience with I Can't Think Straightly?
Okay, my personal experience, as you might remember, and some of our listeners might remember, because I know we've talked about this, I think, before. We were going to do a Lez-ssentials for I Can't Think Straight in season 4.
Yeah, a while ago.
Maybe?
Yeah.
A while ago. And so we had watched it at the time. We were like already notes. I wonder if I should have looked up if I have old notes somewhere for this. But anyways, we were going to do it then. And then we, at the last minute, it was near the holidays. We decided to pull an audible at the very last minute and switch our Lez-ssentials to everyone knows our favorite movie, Happiest Season. And so now we've just sort of had this sitting around in our back pocket, waiting
for the
to
right
come back
moment.
up,
and it was
in the
right
rotation
moment. We brought it.
So here we are.
Here we are. We brought it back. So that was the first time you've seen it, though. You hadn't seen it before we decided to do it.
I had not seen it before we decided to do it. Actually, no.
Interesting, because I saw this movie in college. It was like one of the movies that was on my I'm a baby gay and I'm going to go on Netflix and see what all the gay movies are and I'm going to watch all of them. And that was a time when the gay movies that we had were honestly just I Can't Think Straight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is a Lez-ssentials to me because it holds a special place in my heart, but it also is I think it has an 18% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Does it really? Wow. I mean, okay, here's the thing. I agree. I mean, as much as I'm joking that 2008 wasn't that long ago, the reality of 2008 media where we were at the time, I'm like, what was the other stuff I was watching in 2008? Because that was also during that was the last writer's strike, wasn't it? Right around that time? Because that was, or maybe right before that was the last writer's strike. Because I remember there was that was the web series boom, right? A lot of web series stuff was big at the time. So I think the writer's strike must have been right around then. And because a lot of the stuff that I'm thinking of in 2008 was the Anyone But Me era,
yes.
And God, when was South of Nowhere? Was that somewhere around then? Maybe it was a little later than that.
I think it might have been. Let me look.
I know. Now I gotta try to look up No, it must have been before that. So yeah, so maybe I was watching South of Nowhere around that era. I mean, it was just...
Yeah, South of Nowhere is 2005. But it was
okay. But it ran for a couple years, right? So it was probably right around then.
But that entire, stretch of lesbian films, had a lot of things in common that were cracking me up. Watching this movie, because it was first of all, you couldn't have a lesbian film that didn't involve a man, right?
No.
No. This is...
The comp het was so strong at the time.
Super strong. It was being gay is really hard. But the interesting thing is there's a turning point in 2008, right? Because that's why I like the movie, because it's being gay is so hard, but our lesbians get together in the end. They just start dealing with a lot of struggle. It's struggle with coming out to our parents, and the parents are screaming. Her mother cry. It's your life is over. It's she wants to die. It's insane. So there's a lot of that.
It's also, it was watching this, which must have come out 5 years or so after Bend It Like Beckham, right? And sort of, it was you got to do a redo of, I mean, I get not exactly the same, but just sort of here is a culture and a family set of expectations, and just a lot of the kind of similar pressures on the people, whereas we all watch Bend It Like Beckham and we're come out to your parents, and then she doesn't, and then you get to watch this movie and it just felt like a take two in some ways, of saying hey, actually, yes, you can be in this type of family, this type of culture, and have these types of comp het expectations on you and be true to yourself,
Exactly. It's so, to me, it's so heavy-handed, so it was just making me laugh.
Oh, it is.
But I still like that we're doing it as a Lez-ssentials because there's a lot of things about it that it's a very important piece of lesbian cinematic history.
Oh, hugely.
You know what I mean? Like that, like you said. So let's dive in a little bit and we will say what the film is about. We'll do that whole spiel and then we can talk about a little bit more of the implications of I Can't Think Straight. The implications. But okay, so storyline. Basically, we start and we have this one character is where we first start, Tala, right? Her whole thing is it's her engagement party. This is her 4th engagement party ever. She's broken off her engagements with every other person beforehand. She's
weird.
So strange.
Weird.
So strange. Everyone's talking about it. They're like, oh, she's like never found the right man, blah, blah, blah. But somehow this man, Hanny, who she's with, is the right man for her in the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we move on to Leyla. These are our 2 main characters. Tala comes from a very wealthy family. Leyla comes from a more working class family. And Leyla ends up meeting Tala with her boyfriend. So the compet is strong, right?
Yes.
Tala's engagement party, Leyla meets Tala with her boyfriend, right? The second they meet, it is such a hilarious lesbian movie. I was cracking up so much. But sorry, because it's so like they look at each other and that's it. It's like an Imagine Me and You kind of vibe.
Oh yeah, it's which, listen, I'll give them this, and at least, I mean, we should, this is probably so the wrong place to do this, but I will say anyone who's familiar with I Can't Think Straight knows this is the director's second movie with these 2 actresses, like kind of right back to back. World Unseen was 2007. I Can't Think Straight comes out in 2008. They're both written and directed by Shamim Sarif. And I think we have to say, sometimes when the chemistry be poppin', man, like I can't begrudge you saying like, wow, let me get these 2 women in another movie together, because even just from this very first scene, like that's the thing is like you can even today I would allow this meet cute. I mean, like the context and the comp head of it all, like okay, we've done it, but like I would allow it just for how good their chemistry
is so good. Tala together. Also like Tala as a character, she's so hot. She really is. She's because she's just so like she's so confident and sure of herself. It's like she just like goes into this conversation and is like, I'm gonna like question all of your world beliefs right now. Your first time I'm talking to you, and they get into this like heated intellectual debate, and you're like, like the fire. And like her boyfriend could not be there and it'd be fine. So we have the meet cute. There's a lot of just like sexual tension.
Also, can we just discuss while we're talking about Tala, I love how Tala comes in and is like, I have to kiss you and I have to steal your boyfriend's seat.
Yes.
She's like,
now I am
she's so
in this, now I'm your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Now.
And she just like moves right in. She's like, she puts herself directly between them. She turns around. She's like, the heavens have parted.
Mm-hmm.
I need to kiss your face and I need to sit in your lap.
Yep.
Which is just
very, very close.
It's a vibe.
Very close. Yeah. Also the outfits, like all the outfits. Oh my God. Button up.
Wait, who's Tala's or Leyla?
Honestly, both.
I ask as though I don't know what your answer is going to be.
But Tala's like she always wears a button-up shirt and khakis.
Yeah.
But Layla's like a cargo pant kind of girl. Like they both have the gayest
Layla's
outfits.
like a dad hat.
Yeah, the hat, the messy ponytail. Like it's hilarious. Then they have this tennis match, which is like a metaphor for like, let's have aggressive sex without having sex. They're like, just like,
is that a new metaphor on our list where like you could have ocean waves or they could just play tennis?
Yes. But they're like like they're just back and forth.
It is a lot.
The men who are their partners are just like looking back and forth, like watching in awe. Then they like, that's what I'm saying. This movie was making me laugh. I'm sorry. They do the tennis match and then she's like, oh, let's go to the changing rooms. Like, it's like borderline. It's
borderline predatory lesbian.
Yeah. Like, and it's like, it makes it even more because you know that Tala's been with a woman before. I feel like you're like, okay, you are being very aggressive with this person that you just met.
Yeah.
She has a moment where Leyla has something in her eyelash and she just picks it out of her eyelash. Tala does.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is like, and then she says, you should relax more. And she's like, they're holding each other's hands. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a whole lot. It's a lot of physical tension between the two of them.
Well, and it's a lot of like, I mean, I'll give them the credit for the chemistry, but it is an awful lot of like camera work, like zoom up on the bedroom eyes staring intensely into each other's souls. Like there's a lot going on.
A lot of soul gazing. There's a lot, yeah. There's a lot of like intense pointed gazes and eye contact and one thing I like about this movie too is like they really don't waste time with the gay, because right after this, Tala lies to her parents and says, I'm going to meet my boyfriend. And instead of going to meet her boyfriend at the polo match, she goes and sees Tala play polo.
Yeah. I feel like there are certain things where you're like, I guess we don't talk enough about it as such a gay activity.
As polo?
As polo. I feel like it just doesn't come up that much.
Well, it's also probably because like
media.
Because we're also watching, so this film is set in, this is also very important. The film is set in London, and each of these characters have a very different religious background. Tala is a Christian from Jordan, and Leyla is a Muslim from London. And so there's like that plays a big role in the film as well, is like their different families and different ways that like Tala is very much like, I cannot be gay in Jordan.
Right.
And Leyla's like, we live in London. Like we're in the West now. Like it doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter, but not as much. But I feel like because it's in London, that's why, to come back to the polo aspect of it. How often are we watching like an American movie where they play polo?
I mean, that's true, but also, can we just talk about the outfit, the swagger, the walking over and putting the helmet on her fucking head.
She puts the helmet on her head. Like,
whew, girl, like it's working for me. If you had asked me like, oh, is polo gonna be like a hot, sexy time? I'd be like, I mean, probably smells like
with
horse
Lisa
manure
Ray,
out there.
yes.
But Lisa Ray making the polo scene work for all of us.
Lisa
and
Ray
honestly,
makes so much
bless
work
her for
me.
it.
Makes so much work for me. It's a lot.
Which, again, I'm like, credit to her, because you could put a lot of other people in this scene, and a lot of the stuff that she does in this movie would immediately veer into icky territory for me on the predatory scale. But she really walks right up to that line.
To the point
and
where
makes
you're
it
like,
all work.
Okay. Like,
yeah.
As a baby, like, because also Leyla is a baby gay. Like, we don't find this out till later, but like Leyla has never been with a woman before. So it's like, you can see that there's like this, like, she's testing the waters of like,
yeah,
are you into this? Or
yeah, she's like, I'm in these tight pants and boots and this fucking polo shirt, and like,
it's so much.
Here's my riding crop. Like, it's a whole thing.
And then
this movie really worked for you as a baby gay, Ellie.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I look back on it and I'm like, wow, I was like this little baby gay being like, oh my God, like someone could be like this towards me. What?
You're like, someone could have a riding crop. What?
So like, I do feel like it has a pretty significant place in a baby gay's life. Like, this is a very, at least in my baby gay years, like I was like, this formed me.
Also, like, why aren't more rich girls gay? Because I'm sorry, but like, if you were watching a whole bunch of girls in these fucking polo outfits, like day in and day out, like,
I mean, Leigh, I do think a lot of rich girls are gay.
They probably are. They're just all bearding.
Yeah. So I don't,
they're all bearding like these two freaking gay-mos over here,
Exactly.
Like,
then we also get into like another one of these like cheesy tropes, which is like, oh, you're a writer? Show me your writing. like whatever. So she's like, okay. So she's like, oh, I'm just learning. I'm new at this whole thing. I'll bring you my thing. Then she brings her writing, and they have this entire talk where they talk about, she's like, so why haven't you gotten engaged to all these men? And she's like, they were all very nice, except for the drug addict one. But things just didn't click.
Is this in the park?
Yeah, and there's a very specific...
This also such strong... Imagine Me and You. This has such strong Imagine Me and You vibes. This walking in the park scene. Like,
well, and two, it's like, in Imagine Me and You, there's that exploration of like, love at first sight, and like, oh, well, heck, I love him, but like, I don't know if I feel for him what I'm supposed to feel, right? So they're literally having this conversation that's the gayest conversation in the world. It's like,
it's the gayest conversation.
Maybe we expect, and Tala says, maybe we expect too much.
Let's do just a real brief, like, PSA, listeners. If you... Listen up, ladies.
Listen up.
If you are constantly having really charged emotional conversations with your very close, girlfriends about how maybe you just don't know if you're really feeling what you should be feeling for the guys you're dating in your life, while like brushing your elbows together and walking very close together and staring longingly into each other's eyes for multiple seconds, you might be gay. That's all.
Also, welcome. If you're listening to Let's Hang Out season 7 and we're having this conversation.
Welcome. You and that girl might just wanna fuck a little. That's all.
Just a little. Just a little.
That's all I'm saying.
Keep it baby gay PG, Leigh.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe they'll just have
You might just want to
fall into some flowers together.
You might just want to go on a
vacation
weekend getaway together.
Yeah, get on a weekend getaway. No, you know what's funny about this from personal
with one bed. That's
with
all.
one bed.
What?
I know I died that they only had one bed. From personal experience, I literally had that. I've said those words. Maybe I expect too much when I was in high school. Exactly word for word, was like, I don't know. I don't really feel anything when I kiss my boyfriend. And then I was like, maybe I'm just feeling what everyone else is feeling. But I don't know what.
Maybe I just don't know what.
Maybe I don't know what it's supposed.
Really
you know what I mean? Maybe I'm just like, oh, what I think it's supposed to feel like I'll never feel because it doesn't exist.
And then after you thought that to yourself, Ellie, did your sister walk in your room and be like, wow, you have a lot of Katie Lang in here?
Yes. That was killing me. Okay.
Is that maybe what happened in your own life? Is this movie based on you, Ellie, is what I'm asking?
No, actually, I did have a conversation with my sister, but not the Katie Lang. So the next scene, yes, bring us back.
Was she like, wow, you have a lot of Martina Navratilova and Katie Lang in here?
This scene is so funny. She's talking to her sister. Her sister talks to her on the bed. And she's like, anything you want to tell me? They pan over to her sister looking at her dresser. And you're right, Leigh. Katie Lang CD. I actually took a picture of this because it was so funny to me. Those books. Okay, the books. Virginia Woolf, A Haunted House. Martina Navratilova, Being Myself.
Sure.
Passion Fruit. Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit, Fingersmith, and Despite the Falling Snow, which is funny because
has Fingersmith on there? I didn't even notice that. That's incredible.
Yes.
Leyla, sweetie, if you read Fingersmith and you don't know you're gay yet.
But that's what I find so funny about it. That is the most hilarious directorial choice. Because I don't even think a baby gay would have all of that gay shit. You know what I mean? It was so heavy-handed that it made me cackle.
Okay, two things. One, we should mention Navratilova was not quite as turfy in 2008 as we now know that she is. Just to call that out. Two, so it wasn't like a problematic choice at the time, is my point. Two, I am sorry, but you find me 100 straight girls off the street, and if one of them has ever heard of the Fingersmith, that girl's gay. Like, I'm sorry. There's no
saying.
straight girl
that girl
who has that
girl
book
would
on
not
her
be
shelf.
Pre-gay. That's the thing.
No.
You would never know about it if you had not come out yet. So that's why I'm like,
Katie Lang, I'll allow. Navratilova, I'll allow. Fingersmith, absolutely not.
No
man.
way in
you
hell.
have to go find that.
That is a
you gotta
deep
find that
dive,
shit.
like 2 years into your lesbianism when you're like, I actively want to read a lesbian book. So that just cracked me up that they were like, what are the gayest things in the world? Let's put them on her dresser. So funny. But so her sister knows, whatever. Then we move on from that because she's going on this weekend vacation, right? So they go.
Yeah, where we meet Tala's sister
who just
clocks them
all right, but also
away.
Because they're not being subtle. They are so all over each other. It's comedic.
Mm-hmm.
And why would you take this weekend getaway and only book yourselves one hotel room with one queen bed as friends? And it's
wild.
Funny. And then she's like, oh, dance with me. Like, you need, like, come here and show me your dance moves.
Look, again, walking right up to that line, toeing up on that line of predatory weird behavior, and somehow just like smoothly pulling it off. I'm like, how is she doing that? Are you a wizard?
Wait, so here's the thing. I find this actually interesting because we talked about this in 703 with Ivy about predatory lesbian stuff, right?
Yes.
I actually think this, because there is consent coming from the other side, I don't even think you can call, like, she's flirting and testing the response. I think she would become predatory if Leyla wasn't into it. So I think that's the thing.
100% agree.
Is like, if there ever was a moment where Leyla was like, I'm uncomfortable, stop, and she didn't stop, right? It's really just like, she is much more forward and aggressive than we expect.
Here's what I think
she's giving. Layla's giving the signals right back consistently.
No, she is 100%. But here's what I think it is like, we are so used to, and we bring up all the time, and we make so much fun of like the useless lesbian who refuses to make a move, who's like, is this girl into me? I don't know.
Tala's just like, she is.
After you've been living together for like a year. And so I think there's just, it immediately, when you see somebody who is just like so confident, so bold, so like just move after move after move. She's, I'm fucking feeding you fruit. We booked one bed. I'm gonna put she's like all up in there, and she's like, I'm just gonna dance seductively in my robe and like pull you up to dance with me. It feels like there's always that possibility of being like, wow, you are pushing real hard. And I think the lesbian inclination is, you're like, what if she's not into it, right?
Yes.
Like, oh my God, what if she's not into it? Like, what if she doesn't want that? And so it immediately gets that kind of like, kind of sensation. But then you watch Leyla, and you're like, oh no, you are 100% into this. She's giving her all of the signs to continue. Like, you could not be more obviously showing her that this is working for you. And I agree. I do think that has a lot to do with why it works, but it's also so funny because I'm like, how in a million years, if she had not been into this, how would you have played this off as platonic?
There's no way. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
how would you have done that?
But there were many like steps leading up to this that she was just like testing the water. She's like, are you into me?
She's like, let me just sway a little bit. Oh, you're looking and you're not looking away. Okay, here we go.
Come dance with me, right? Like, so it's like, it's like, I don't know. This does it for me. This does the like back and forth kind of, the like, they're dancing. Then Leyla is taking a more aggressive stance too. So it's like, you also have Leyla grabbing Tala or like dancing with her from behind or whatever. Mm-hmm. So like, it doesn't feel one-sided. And then they start making out and you're like, what the hell is happening? The payoff happens super fast, I feel like, relative to other lesbian films.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yes.
Well, and the payoff comes without, like, I also really enjoyed that they get to this point without without hitting a lot of the angst or drama or anything yet. You know, it's
Until
like
after they've
I know we're gonna
slept
get
together,
there, and I know
yeah.
we'll have to work through all of this stuff. But I just kind of like that this feels pretty organic, unencumbered. This is what's happening. It's like, here, you can't fight this, you know? This is a thing. Here's where we're at. And then we'll get into the here's the conflict and the drama we have to work through. Okay, fine, sure, yes. But I like that they didn't preface the payoff with all of that stuff. We got like some payoff first, and then
they're naked together in bed being like, so have you ever done this before? And Tala's like, yeah, I was madly in love with this girl in college, and then I was like, I can't do this, but I was like, and then Layla's like, I also find it so funny that like, it's just so gay, because Leyla also says something where she's like, yeah, I felt so much and blah, blah, blah. Didn't think I'd ever feel it again. And she's like, except for now. And I'm like, oh, like she's literally like, oh, so your college girlfriend, not as good as me though, right? Like after you slept together once.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. And as we head into Thanksgiving time, I want to start by thanking my wife, Kelsey, who has not only listened to just about every episode of this podcast for 8 seasons now, but who also is the only reason I'm able to make time to record it every week. She takes the kids, gets them dinner, and gets them ready for bed, just so that Ellie and I can come on and yell about gay things into each other's faces for an hour. So here's a reminder to send some thanks to the people you're grateful for in your life, including yourself. I've been in therapy for a long time now, and one thing that's so important about therapy is how it teaches you to be more intentional. And being intentional about gratitude and how to show that to the people you appreciate is just one of the many benefits that I've gotten from therapy over the years. If you've been thinking of starting therapy, consider giving BetterHelp a try. I know how hard it can be to find time for regular therapy, and BetterHelp is designed to be flexible and convenient for your schedule. You can fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. If you want to start being more intentional about gratitude in your life, visit betterhelp.com/lezhangout today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp, HELP.com/lezhangout.
Let's hang out.
For many businesses, the holiday season can be both an exciting and stressful time. With so many balls in the air, one thing you definitely want to know you can rely on is how you're selling your products. And with Shopify, you can rest easy knowing it's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. And when it comes to successful brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, an often overlooked secret is all the things that go on behind the scenes that make selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, if you take a peek behind that curtain, you'll see that Shopify is what makes it all possible. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, so that's more happy customers and way more sales going. It's true all the time, but especially this time of year, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use for Realm merch with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm. For many businesses, the holiday season can be both an exciting and stressful time. With so many balls in the air, one thing you definitely want to know you can rely on is how you're selling your products. And with Shopify, you can rest easy knowing it's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. And when it comes to successful brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, an often overlooked secret is all the things that go on behind the scenes that make selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, if you take a peek behind that curtain, you'll see that Shopify is what makes it all possible. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, so that's more happy customers and way more sales going. It's true all the time, but especially this time of year, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use for Realm merch with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
You come to the New Yorker Radio Hour for conversations that go deeper with people you really want to hear from, whether it's Bruce Springsteen or Questlove or Olivia Rodrigo, Liz Cheney, or the godfather of artificial intelligence, Jeffrey Hinton, or some of my extraordinarily well-informed colleagues at the New Yorker. So join us every week on the New Yorker Radio Hour, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Once she's like, but you're my love now.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a question, Ellie.
Yes.
Because some of our listeners will give a little, sneak peek into we have a Patreon episode that comes out with this. I think it's releasing at the same day as this or right around this on Blue is the Warmest Color.
Mm-hmm.
And in that episode, we have some thoughts about the sex scene in Blue is the Warmest Color. I'm curious, knowing how we felt about that sex scene, which I think didn't super work for either of us.
Yeah.
Where does this one fall for you?
It honestly works for me.
It works for me too. I'll take this. I mean, it's short. I wish it would I would accept this being longer, but I like this better than Blue is the Warmest Color. Even though you don't see anything, though it's like very...
It's quite tame.
It's super tame.
Yeah.
It's super tame. And I'm not saying that I need it to be this tame, but this filming, composition, just overall
vibes.
Style, vibes are so much better in this scene.
I would like it to be like
as tame as it is.
I would want it to be like a little sexier. I agree.
Yeah, like maybe
in terms of
twice as long and a little bit more would be
like
great. But I would do this.
It's like it's very hinty in the way that like most lesbian sex scenes in this time period were. But it was like we had a lot of like kissing the belly or like you know what I mean? We have like I feel like that's also so classic of this time to be like
very much so.
Like she's gonna go down on her. But like you won't see her go down on her. But like
it's the sex scene pinkies touching equivalent, right?
She's heading there.
Yeah, you know where she's going. You know what the goal is, right?
Yeah.
I just think we talked in Blue is the Warmest Color about how that scene had no softness.
Yes,
this so soft,
and there's the chemistry between these two actresses is so good too. That like literally just like their kissing scenes are so good. Because you just like, are just like, you feel everything that they're feeling. You're like, it's just there, right? Like, it's just there. So yeah, I could still vibe on it. It's like a little more artsy than I need it to be. I like a little bit more explicitness, but not too much. But it still works.
I would take this scene
versus Blue is the Warmest Color. I would take this
over the, what do we have, like 15 minutes of sex scenes in Blue is the Warmest Color.
It leaves a lot more to the imagination, but it's not Portrait of a Lady on Fire that's like, and we kissed and we're awake. And you're like, what happened?
Right.
But what happened? So yeah, so I'm a fan. And then the
use your imagination, Ellie.
The after sex processing.
Very gay.
Very gay. Then it's basically like, I also find it so funny and interesting that Leyla, this is the first woman she's ever slept with. And she is so like, fuck it.
On top?
Well, yes.
Sorry, what?
No, yes. But also, she's like, so I'm going to come out to my parents. We're going to be together forever. I don't care about your fiance. And Tala's like, what are you talking about? Like, we cannot be together. But like Leyla, it's like her first time. She's like, clearly she's thought about this before.
I mean, she has a copy of the Fingersmith in her bedroom, Ellie.
Fingersmith.
She's thought about this before, okay? There is a reason that girl was on top and ready to go. Like, it might be her first time.
But she's practiced.
In reality.
Yeah. In her head, it's not her first time.
It's not her first time up here, I'll tell you what.
Yes.
She's like, I finally get to try the things that I've been waiting to try.
Wild.
She's ready. She was ready to go.
So they have this whole thing. Then they go back to London. And Tala's mom, who we haven't really talked about, but she sucks also. She's super like...
A lot of people in this movie suck.
Must have my child marry a rich man. And then also she's like anti-Semitic, and she's like fucked up to her housekeeper who spits in her drinks. Like, she's a horrible human being. But she, first of all, walks in on Tala and Leyla being super gay together, which I'm like, ladies, Tala, you just said you can't be together, and yet you walk into your own home that you know your mother lives in, like pushing her up against a wall to like basically start making out with her. These things do not add up. The consistency
in a house that big, you should be able to hide better.
Yes. So her mom walks in on them and brings her fiance out, and uncomfortableness ensues where she's like,
I also love the mother with the like Cruella de Vil style like cigarette holder. You could not more obviously be trying to portray someone as as like a Disney villain.
Yeah, she's
right?
so villain, like such a villain.
Yeah.
Also, I'm just like, can they not pretend at all? I'm like, you guys have been pretending to be straight your whole lives, and you can't pretend for one dinner. Like, it's
Ellie,
like
sometimes you taste the sweet forbidden fruit, and other food just tastes like ashes in your mouth now. What do you want from them?
Valid, but I still feel like Tala would have been better. Like, neither one, they both are like can't even pretend to be nice to the fiance. Like, Layla's like, I have to go to the bathroom, and Tala's like, can I come with you? What do you mean? Come with you?
Can I come with you? Well, listen, to be fair, this man walks in and like sticks his tongue down her fucking throat. Like, it is.
I mean, it's her fiance though. So
it is a whole lot. I know, but even your fiance, like in front of her mother and her friend that you're just meeting, is a whole lot. There is one thing that I absolutely love about this scene where he walks in, and that is the juxtaposition of him sitting in his suit and Tala sitting in her suit. And they're sitting in like the exact same position. And it's like a very mask position on her. And it's such a short frame that it happens in, but it is so funny. It's just, I don't know. It is like chef's kiss of the suit and positioning that they put her in is fucking so much. Suits.
I know, suits for days with Tala.
Well, listen,
so
women
much queer
in
energy.
Suits always, yes, please.
So
and
much queer
thank
energy.
You.
Then they basically break up in this whole thing.
Rough.
Because Layla's like, I want to be with a woman who I'm excited when her key turns in the door. And Tala's like, I have to marry this man.
Yeah, you're so right though. The Layla like 180.
It's insane. Like, that's the thing. I'm like,
Layla wakes up from that bed in a fucking pride parade.
But to
be
fair, I'm like, I'm laughing about it, but I get it.
Yeah. When you know, okay?
Yeah, like, I'm like, probably I was pretty much exactly the same. Like,
here's
once
you
know,
how this
you
works.
run out of the closet. That's just
and
how it is.
We all know
it's how it is.
We all know how this works, right? She's been listening to her Katie Lang albums in bed, reading the Fingersmith, and just being like, maybe it's not that great, right? Like maybe
I just think
maybe I wouldn't be that into it. Like maybe this just seems really like exotic and forbidden, and like maybe it wouldn't be all that, right? And then she sex with a woman
never mind,
once,
it's better than I thought.
And she's like, I will forsake my family and society, and I will live in the woods by myself if I get to be gay. Like she gets there so fast.
Which, you know what?
So funny.
Good for you, Leyla.
Good for you. We love to see it, right? It's great.
And then they go to from there they break up, and we go to the wedding.
Yeah.
And
she comes out, right? Like doesn't she go right home and tell her family or something?
So Leyla comes out, but she comes out. We see the wedding, then we see Leyla come out, then we go back to the wedding. I'm pretty sure. But yes. So Leyla comes out. There's also so Leyla comes out to her mom and she screams, "I'm gay" at her. Screams it. And her mom acts like she's the devil. Like, it's pretty traumatic. She's like, "You're a sinner." And Layla's like, "I haven't caught a disease. I'm just gay." It's a pretty intense thing. And then she has the most extreme overreaction, her mom. She like screams and runs away. And Layla's dad's like, "Calm down. Everything's fine. I'm going to buy you an apartment."
Can we shout out the dad's response though when she's like, he's like, "What did I miss?" And she goes, "I'm gay." And he goes, "But I've only
gone
been
2 hours.
Sometimes 2 hours is all
Honestly,
it takes, Dad.
that is
all
all
I'm
it
saying.
took for her. She flipped a switch real fast.
I mean, let's be real. It was her first time and they were both super into it. That was more than 2 hours. But I'm just saying, sometimes 2 hours is all it takes. Okay?
Sometimes 2 hours is all it takes. So she comes out and she's like, "I'm gay. I'm ready to move out. I'm going to move to my own apartment." We flash back to Tala at the wedding. We have another gay character who is the gay cousin, I guess. I don't know, like Tala's sister's husband's brother. He's this gay boy who comes in from New York. And we have this whole ridiculous plot with him and the other sister being like, "We love men and we love New York and we love being vegetarians." And I think, through all of that and also just her bawling her eyes out over Leyla, Tala decides to call off yet another wedding. So
I mean, sometimes you just have a skill, and that girl's skill is ending a betrothal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
I think I think the skill is getting another man to propose to her, knowing that she's broken like 5 proposals.
All of these men are like the girl in a rom-com being like, I can fix
her. I can change her. So she breaks off the engagement. I will say, like, each of them, their fathers are far more supportive than their mothers.
Oh yeah, the dads are great.
So her father's just like, "I just want you to be happy. Like, you don't need to marry this man. Like, it's fine." And her mother's like flipping the fuck out, losing her mind.
Well, her mom sucks.
Her mom always sucks. Then we flash forward to Leyla again. She has pictures of her and Tala on her bulletin board that I just need to bring up because I'm like, when did she take these pictures, print them out, and put them on the walls of her room?
She's there with her little like paper inkjet printer photo.
Yeah. Her sister's also wearing an "I Can't Think Straight" t-shirt at some point, which I find hilarious.
Hot stuff.
Leyla goes to a lecture sponsored by Tala's parents that Tala is also at with her current girlfriend, Jennifer. And Tala in general, girl is so forward. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "You're not interested in Jordan. You're interested in me." And her girlfriend's like, "Can we leave?"
I mean, to be fair, it's so rude, the whole thing. So just rude on everyone's part.
And Layla's like, "This is my girlfriend. Have you come out to your parents yet?" "No." "Goodbye." Right? Leyla is really like, if Tala doesn't come out to her parents, she does not want to be with her. So this is like the whole thread of everything, right? Ali, who's the boyfriend from before, the sister, Layla's sister, decides to tell Ali, like, "Hey, did you watch the TV show The L Word?" Her exact words. That's what they are. They're gay.
Incredible.
If you've seen The L Word, you know what Tala and Leyla are, right?
Yeah.
They set them up under false pretenses to go to dinner together. Tala and Leyla. They have this whole conversation where Tala's like, "I love you. I want to be with you. But like, I just can't be with you in public." And Layla's like, "No, if you're not going to come out to your parents, I don't want any part of this. I'm still with Jennifer."
Which, listen.
Goodbye.
Good for her.
Yep.
Have a backbone. She's set her standards. I'm here for it, you know?
But she does then find out that Tala doesn't have a husband. So like, that's complicating things. And she's also like, "Yeah, I'm with Jennifer, but she doesn't make me feel the same way that you made me feel." Not cool. Then
we are also so funny on how ridiculously we flip back and forth between we're like, you do not have to be with the first girl you sleep with. And then we're like, but sometimes they're your soulmate.
But that's lesbian movies, right?
I know.
Lesbian movies are like, the first girl I ever was with is the love of my life. And
why is U-hauling such a lesbian phenomena? Who can say, know?
Who can say? And to be fair, it's not the first person that Tala has slept with. And
That's
Leyla
true.
has left Tala, explored with a new girlfriend, and then is like, well, maybe it was Tala. So it's a little more flexible, but very, very interesting. So then Tala writes a poem to Leyla, sends her a gift. She goes and she tells her parents she's gay.
In another fucking power suit, too.
Yep,
She is
always
all up in these power suits.
And in a hilarious twist of events, after she comes out, the housekeeper gives her mom a drink with her spit in it, and she drinks it.
Amazing.
So that was great.
Shout out to that housekeeper, honestly.
Shout out to the housekeeper. Then we get our little happy ending. Surprise, Layla's now a published author. Tala comes to her book signing, and she says, can you sign this to Tala, who finally had the courage to come out to her parents? Then she opens the book, and she sees that Leyla has written in it, I love you.
Stop it.
And
Stop
then
it, you two.
we flash
My
forward
heart.
to them sleeping together again. They're making out. They're having sex. And then, in the most gay twist ever, at the end, they're sitting on a bench and they're looking at kids. They just got back together. And Tala says, I hope you're ready for kids because I told my parents we're going to have children soon. What are you talking about?
Why is U-hauling a lesbian phenomenon? No one knows.
So I feel like she
okay?
was like, she came out to her parents and they're like, but what about kids? And she's like, don't worry, I have a girlfriend and we're going to get inseminated soon, really soon. And then
I mean, listen, they've got money. They're ready.
honestly, they could do
Whatever.
it, but whatever.
Whatever.
Then we flash to a gay
Okay.
bar scene with the gay cousin. The song I Kissed a Girl by Jill Sobule starts playing. And we're like, happy ending for our lesbian lovers. Happy ending for our gay boy in New York. Happy endings for gays everywhere.
Just all the gay happy
That's
endings. And honestly, I'm not going to complain. I mean, it's, again, is it dated?
Yes.
Was it huge for what it was at the time?
Yes.
Yeah, because realistically, the drama and the angst in this,
honestly,
low stakes.
Honestly, compared to even some movies now where the drama and the
Yeah.
angst is, it's
Yeah.
not that bad, right? Like they have conversations where Tala's like, I don't know if I can, but you have the juxtaposition of them, right? Leyla is like, I love you, we can make it work. And Tala's like, I don't know if we can make it work, right? Instead of like deep gay despair, you know?
Right.
And they come out to their
Right.
parents and things are okay.
No one dies.
Right? Like it's a rough coming out. Like it's not like, yay, it's rough, but they do it and they're okay and they have their own apartment and they're going to live their life in London, which is like more accepting than Jordan. And
yeah. And it's, I mean, you can't, the nostalgic part of saying, ending this type of movie on a happy ending to the song I Kissed a Girl in 2008, like groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking. Well, that's the thing too. Like we just don't have that many like feel good movies. So I will take like that this movie is not a freaking cinematic masterpiece. Yeah, because they're cute. They have good chemistry. They get together in the end, and everyone's happy.
It's not bad. It's not badly filmed.
Yes.
It's not. I mean, on the scale of production value, it's not.
I will say that
wildly high,
I will say the
but it's
acting
actually
is pretty rough.
There are some parts
Not
that are
the
pretty
two
rough.
main characters.
Not the two of them.
Every
No,
other
yeah.
like literally every single other character, the acting is so rough.
It's you know what it reminds me of sometimes? Okay, how do I want to explain this? Because I feel like it's going to make it sound like a negative commentary on what I want to explain it using, and it's not at all. Sometimes there are ways in which it reminds me of Debs. Like the acting sometimes but in the way that like Debs is doing it tongue-in-cheek to itself, and this movie's not. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Right? Where I'm like, you're not trying to make it as campy and over the top as you are. And Debs is.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But it's the same. It's landing in the exact same place, but one of you is self-aware about it, and one of you is not.
When the mother starts crying and running away, I'm like, that is comedy gold, but I don't think you're trying to make this comedic.
That's so over the top. But the thing is the two of them are great, and their chemistry will sell this movie every time.
Yeah.
Every time. It's gonna ride the wave of the two of them, and why shouldn't it?
I agree. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, I remember when I would watch this movie and I'd be like, it was because the chemistry was so good. I feel like you're like, I want this. Like, I want this, like, crazy kind of, like, life-changing love, whatever.
You know what else I'm gonna say it's very similar to in that respect? Where it's like, the two main girls, fine. Everyone else, is New York Christmas Wedding.
Yes.
It's that kind of, it's on par in terms of the like, okay, so you got these two and then a bunch of extras.
Yes.
It's kind of like that.
That's how it feels.
But honestly, I like their chemistry better, and I like their little story better, and it's cute. It was sweet. It was a happy ending. It was so much at the time. There was so little out there.
I agree. I think it still falls into a Lez-ssentials for me because it just checks a lot of those boxes. Like we said, like, happy ending is really, like, huge. And it's just like, it is cute and sweet. And also people have been asking us to do this one because I think too, like, it has two QPOC leads. Like, it's very, like, entrenched in these two different cultures. Like, it's not a standard, like...
It is not too, like, it is not your typical two white girls, a blonde and a brunette.
Yeah, like, it's not the blonde and brunette formula, right? Like, and I think that's really important that we watch those and that we share those and we uplift them.
No, absolutely, because even today, I mean, this, again, we just said this came out 15 years ago. We still do not have a whole lot of movies in 2023 featuring queer brown girls, queer black girls. Like, these are, and especially in relationships not with a white girl.
Yes.
Right? Like, that just still doesn't happen that much. That's why it was such a huge deal when it was happening on Batwoman. When that got canceled, that's why, it's like, it still matters, and the fact that there are still not a whole lot of other movies with this kind of representation 15 years later, kind of depressing, honestly,
Yes, agreed. Also, it's like very, I don't know like how much I can personally comment on the politics of everything in the film, but it is
probably not.
It is
not our
but it is very much
top place.
But it is very much written by somebody who is impacted by those cultures.
Yeah.
And like is writing their experience, and like they have a lot of conversations about the like Israeli-Palestinian conflict and all of those kind of things that I think like it doesn't shy away from the fact that we are talking to a Christian and a Muslim couple in Jordan and London in 2008.
Yeah. I think it is a good example of why like own voices stories are needed and important, absolutely. But I think just across the board, like this one still hits for me,
It hits for sure.
Does.
And it is so silly. I was laughing so hard at some shit, like the Katie Lang thing.
But were you laughing at the comedy that was meant to be there, or were you laughing at some of the funny acting?
I was laughing at all of it.
Things.
Like I was laughing at just like the 2008 of it all.
It's so it's so much.
So I also want to say, like, if you are going to watch this film and you have never seen it before, just know that going into it, that like that's the kind of film that it is. Because I feel like I honestly love a film that has an 18% on Rotten Tomatoes sometimes. Do you know what I mean? Like
there's different reasons for an 18%. This one, I'm surprised it's that low.
So
honestly.
The audience score is higher, but the critic score is 18%. The audience score was 60%.
Okay.
Which is like not horrible, but like, not this is not, I don't know. This is not but I'm a cheerleader in terms of like.
Okay, but now, sorry, you know what I have to look up immediately is what the Rotten Tomatoes for Happiest Season is. because here's why I'm curious, okay? So the critic score for Happiest Season, what do you think it is?
The critic score?
Yeah.
80.
Is 82%.
Mm-hmm.
And the audience score is 73%. Right? And I feel like this is why it's so telling, right? Is when you look at these two movies and you compare, I'm doing them specifically because we happened to have
to replace this one with Happiest Season in the past,
Yes. But because I think it's really important to look at these two movies in contrast and say like, okay, yeah, production budget for Happiest Season infinitely higher. I mean, you can tell just the quality
yes. Acting infinitely
quality
higher.
of the production of the
cast,
lighting of the caliber of cast that they were able to get. But which one would I choose to watch again as a queer person?
I can't think straight.
It's not Happiest Season, I'll tell you that. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing is it's like, again, it is so tiring to constantly have to have the conversation of like why queer media is important and why it is so hard that we so frequently don't get the movies that are going to rate with critics the way that they rate with us.
Yes.
Because we're all passing the same tired $10 bill around, right? And it's just depressing because honestly, on the scale of kind of lower budget indie queer movies, like these are actually well done.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know? Like, I think Shamim Sarif is great at writing and making movies.
Yes.
And what's sad is I'm like, give her the budget that Happiest Season had, right? And what could we get? And also let her cast Lisa Ray and Chantal Chef.
Yeah, let her only cast the same actresses.
Let's only cast these two because I bet their chemistry still fucking slaps 15 years later. And like, I'd be into it. I'd watch it.
Yes. She did a movie recently based on one of her books that I think did sort of well, Despite the Falling Snow.
I haven't seen that one.
But it stars Rebecca Ferguson and Anthony Head. So good cast.
Yeah.
Oliver Jackson Cohen from, what's it called?
And that was more recent?
2016. So, quote unquote, recent-ish. And that's one of the books that she had on her, what's it called? Her dresser. But it's funny because it's not a lesbian book. It just was one of Shamim Sharif's books. So she's like, and let me throw my book on here.
Nice.
Like, I just find it funny. But yeah, those two actresses, first of all, like, give me Lisa Ray and Chantal Chef in literally anything and I will watch it.
Yeah.
So, and I think a lot of queer women feel the same way.
I think this is one of my top, like, I like this one more than I liked The World Unseen.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think I've rewatched this one more times. Like, I think I've watched The World Unseen,
it's fluffier. I know that's most of it. It's just fluffier.
Yeah.
It's a fluffier story. It's an easy watch. World Unseen it's a little heavier to me.
Yeah.
You know? And I like this one. It's just fun.
I know.
It's just good, clean fun, you know?
It is. Good, clean, lesbian fun.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Anything else about this movie before we jump into our Q&A?
I can't believe this was 15 years ago. I don't know. It's so funny when you watch things and I'm like, God, it's so dated. But also, I don't feel like this feels that old to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's old.
It is. And also, it just isn't. I don't know.
It hasn't.
It's just I think this is a good one. It's a classic.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
It is a classic. So, also, yeah, if you've seen it, let us know what you think. If you haven't seen it yet, watch it and let us know what you think. And make sure you do our drinking game. All right, here are your drinking game rules for I Can't Think Straight. Rule number 1, every time Tala flirts shamelessly. 2, every time Layla's mom fawns over Ellie. 3, every time their sisters realize they're gay. Lots of times. 4, every time Ronnie spits in the mom's food. I'm here for that. 5, every time Leyla has gay panic around Tala. All right, that one's going to get you wasted. 6, every time Tala's mom tries to dress Xena. 7, every time they talk religion or politics. And 8, every time our two main leads have smokin' chemistry. So drink up. But remember, drink responsibly, be safe, have fun. And as you're doing this game, let us know. Send us a message. Hey, I did the game with my partner. It was super fun. We love to hear it. Let's head into our Q and Gay.
Q and gay.
Question number 1. What's the gayest thing Tala does? A, plays polo. B, wears pantsuits. C, the eyelash move. Or D, breaks off 4 engagements.
I mean, listen, they're all extremely gay, but I think the gayest is breaking off 4 engagements.
Like,
I'm
girl.
sorry, being that heavily bearded and still not being able to commit to it, so gay.
So gay.
So gay. Question 2, Ellie. What's your favorite Shamim Sarif movie out of A, The World Unseen, B, I Can't Think Straight, C, Despite the Falling Snow, or D, The House of Tomorrow?
It's got to be B, I Can't Think Straight.
It's a
bop.
hit, you know?
It's a bop. All right, question number 3 from our favorite scene ever. What's the gayest thing in Layla's bedroom? A, the Katie Lang CD. B, the Martina Navratilova autobiography. C, Fingersmith. Or D, Leyla.
I mean, listen, out of the objects, it is the Fingersmith. But the owner of all of those objects is Leyla and is she's so fucking gay.
So
man.
gay.
She's so gay. She's thought about it. She's thought about it.
She's been thinking about it.
Question 4, Ellie. How many times have you been engaged? A, never. B, once. C, twice. Or D, more than 4 times.
I'm going to go with A, never. Never been engaged.
Not even a not yet option in here? Wow.
Not yet.
There you go.
All right, question number 5. Which move would have worked on you? A, the cheek kiss. B, the polo helmet. C, feeding you fruit. Or D, the dancing.
Listen, if I was a baby gay, like Leyla is in this movie, I'm gonna say the dancing would have been too much for me. The polo helmet
would have worked.
Would have worked. Would have been good.
Smooth
you know?
move, yeah.
It's like it's forward, but not too forward. You know.
Yeah, it gives you a little bit of a chill, but you're like, oh, it could have been friendly.
Because Layla's response to the dancing is like so smooth, and I'm like, I would have just been like, brain
Melt.
Blue screen, like passing out on the floor. I think I don't know, it's a little much.
I was melting just watching it. I wasn't even in the room. I wasn't even there.
It was too much.
It was
too
so much. Remember, you can give us your own answers to this episode's Q&A questions on our Twitter at @LesHangoutPod.
Let me hear you say hip, 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 we're gay.
We love hearing from all of you. We love continuing to build this community. So we just want to shout out some of our favorite things every episode. And listen, I know this feels like a little bit of a redo, but we just got back from Croatia. Ellie and I literally flew back yesterday as we're recording this. We're a little tired, but we're doing great. We are keeping the vibes rolling. Okay. And we want to shout out all the people who came to Croatia with us. Like we said at the top, we just had so much fun, such an incredible week. And so we want to make sure that we thank all of the people who came on this incredible trip, made so many memories with us. So this is going out to Lars, Abby, Laura, Morgan, Sam, Crystal, Yasmin, Dur, Tu, Sophia, Irene, F, Leah, Taylor, and MJ, and of course, our captain, our captain, Vladdy Daddy, the tour guide of all tour guides. Where we would have been lost without you, Vlad. You know, just
Vlad, if you're listening, we love you.
We love you. We love all of our LGBTs. We had the best time. Le je bataqua.
And as always, we want to thank our Lesbian Jesus patrons: Mark Foster,
Tanya Ferguson,
Alana Rosen,
Lizette Stye,
Adi Benitez,
Fiona W.,
and Sophia Phillips.
And our King Princess patrons, Amy and Ellen,
Leah Henley,
Andrea Doucette,
and Julia Gonzalez. Thank you all so much for supporting us. As always, we could not continue to make this show without you.
Remember, you can find us on all the social medias. We are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok at Let's Hang Out Pod.
You can email us at leshangoutpod@gmail.com.
You can check out our website at lezhangoutpod.com.
Whatever app you use for podcasts, make sure you subscribe so you'll be the first to know when new episodes drop.
We also have videos going up on our YouTube channel. You can subscribe at youtube.com/lezhangoutpod to catch those.
Let's Hang Out is an independently produced show hosted by us with audio production by me. Our production assistant is Kristen Murison and Twitter shenanigans by Leigh Foster.
If you want to help support the podcast, there are so many ways to do it. The first, you can leave us a rating and a review on whatever app you use to listen to podcasts. It helps new people find the show.
If you want to join our Patreon, you can do that at bit.ly/lespatreon. We have monthly bonus episodes coming up talking about different lesbian TV shows or movies that we can't quite get to in our regular season. We have Patreon-only watch parties, our Discord chat, all kinds of fun perks for our patrons, and we'd love to see you there.
If you want to get some merch, now is a great time to start planning all of your Halloween and holiday merch purchases. We have all of our designs up on our TeePublic. You can get them on tees, tote bags, mugs, all sorts of stuff. You can find all of our designs at bit.ly/lezshop.
And remember, we have a queer production company making queer podcast musicals with guaranteed happy endings. You can find everywhere at $dollarbeanprod.
You can also check out our website, dollarbeanproductions.com.
And you can listen to all the episodes of our first show, The Flame, on any podcasting app.
And if you want to help support us in making more queer musicals, you can join our Patreon at bit.ly/dollarbeanpatreon.
If you want to follow us individually, you can follow me at Ellie Brigida on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
And you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at LSH Foster.
With that, I'm Ellie.
And I'm Leigh. And let's hang out again soon.
Let's hang out. No more skating by, acting like I don't know why. Nothing ever fit, no one ever clicked. Now I realize I can't go back to hiding. I've got to live my truth. 'Cause at the beach all I see are the waves, and in the streets I never stay in my lane. And when you look at me I barely know my name. 'Cause when I'm with you I can't even think straight. Push, pull, take a chance. Life is nothing but a dance. Give a little swing, get another ring. Will I pay the price if I just keep on lying? What am I scared to lose? 'Cause at the beach all I see are the waves, and in the streets I never stay in my lane. And when you look at me I barely know my name. 'Cause when I'm with you I can't even think straight. I never stayed inside the lines, never knew to open up my eyes. Can't seem to get you off my mind, even if I try. 'Cause at the beach all I see are the waves, and in the streets I never stay in my lane. And when you look at me I barely know my name. 'Cause when I'm with you I can't even think straight.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey y'all, I'm JJ.
Hey guys, it's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests to share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story But I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.